So what made you start this exhibition?
Well, that story is actually kind of long.
I got 60 minutes on my camera.
Okay, cool. Hey, Sean? Yes, sir. Hey, can you bring your iPad over real quick? I want to show him the video. And hand me that real quick. I want to show him the... Where's that scene? The city.
Gotta be in that one.
I know it's in here. We packed it yesterday. We did a talk at id Software yesterday. For
Really?
the artists and the staff at id. Phenomenal guys. Really, really cool.
John Carmack and the rest of them?
Yeah, I got to meet Carmack. That was really cool, man. It was like, I cried almost. I was so into it. So yeah, I got to meet John Carmack. That was really neat. And they were so into the art. They were really, really big fans. And when I do studio tours and I do studio talks, I try to bring stuff that, like, maybe it isn't so awesome to the rest of the whole world, but the animators, the artists, they dig big time. And so one of the things, because we drove here from Atlanta and I have my archives and everything, I will never ship this. It will never leave my home unless it's in my hands. But this is the piece that actually started the exhibit. Yeah. So we have Ryu and Nezu walking, and they're walking in front of this wall as things are going along, right? And you know, they're just trot, you know, that's fun. And you have this cityscape behind them.
It's all layers, right?
And this is the background to that scene. Okay?
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal piece of art. I mean, it's just it's astounding. And I'll bring it out so in case the reflection's shown. That way you can get
that's
a nice,
perfect, yes.
beautiful shot.
That's gorgeous.
So, if you have the video. So this is the scene that kind of blew it away. And before I show this to you, I'm going to explain what happened. I bought a collection about 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, of about 300 cells. And in that collection was a folder with all of this material in it. It had, you know, those guys walking, this wall, and it was folded like that too, so I didn't fold it. And then these buildings, and a lot more, like a lot of the pencil layouts for that scene. You know, this, and then the actual pencil layout for the buildings.
I'm surprised there's still stuff out there from the movie. I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean, there are tons of collectors, and boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff made it to the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell the story of how this was all here in just a moment. But what hit me was when you buy stuff, especially that came out of the Streamline production house, a lot of times you'll get heavy metal, you'll get like Twilight of the Cockroaches, Version Zeta, other films are in the box with it. And I thought that this piece was actually not from Akira. I thought it was just a very beautiful background from another film because you never see it. You just, and I'll show you in just a moment why this matters.
Okay.
So I put this in a folder called Miscellaneous, and it sat in my closet for about a year. Almost 9 months it sat in my closet. So one day I get home and I got a brand new cell, and I'm looking through the film, and every time I get a cell, I get excited and I watch the film again, and it's kind of on in the background, and I happen to look up, and this is the scene that played. And when it played, I was just watching, and all of a sudden I noticed.
Oh, there it is. In the background.
Yeah, it's way back there. I see it.
Yeah, and you notice you only see like just that tiny bit.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's back there.
I had no idea that it's layers like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's so cool.
Is that unique or
No,
was that unique
the
at the
whole
time?
film. Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of animation is done in layers. That way you can actually have parallax and movement. So you have, compare. You have this much of the scene that you get to see at any given moment
Yeah,
in this
they
film
could have just
versus
drawn a little bit, but they drew the whole
the
entire
whole thing. And it's astounding. And when you get, I mean, like, so you're far away right now and you can get perspective. And when you get closer and closer and closer and closer, you start to see in the windows here, there
More
are people.
detail?
There are drapes. There are different color light bulbs. All the way in the background, same thing. They have different color lights. They have airplane lights on the tower here. I mean, it's sickening.
Yeah, the detail.
Oh
yeah.
my God! These guys are jerks for being so talented. Because they ruined cinema for the rest of the world, right? So I'm very in touch with my feminine side. I cried. I cried for minutes and minutes and minutes till my wife came in the room and said, "What?
What are you doing?"
And I said, "Look at this." And she goes, "Yeah, it's one of those stupid Akira things." And I said, you know, well, she doesn't say stupid. I like to tease, but no, she's very supportive. I swear, honey, I don't tease like that often. She was moved by the fact that I was moved, and I said, you don't get it, man. The world needs to see this. Like, the whole world needs to see this piece right here, and everything else I own. Like, it's going on display. I have to put this out there. And she goes, well, just don't spend too much money and have a good time.
Yeah.
And so I started the exhibit, and people like Mark who run Dallas Comic Con, Dragon Con, San Diego Comic Con, they've been very supportive. Everyone's very into it. Obviously, Akira has a lot of fandom. People are very interested. It's a targeted film that everyone adores. So the fact that I own the world's largest collection of private art kind of didn't hit me for a long time that it's unfair to just sit in an archive.
Share it with the world.
I mean, my thought was I'm preserving, right? I own it, and I'm a fan, and I want to preserve it and make sure I take care of it, right? Well, no, I mean, the point is to get it in front of people, let people see how this thing was made, and yeah, I want to protect it and take care of it and keep it as pristine as possible, but art is beautiful, and art is amazing, and art needs to be in front of people. It doesn't really matter if it stays the course and is around for 600 years, so long as someone was inspired by this to the point where they made something great.
Right.
That's the point. That's the art of Akira. That's where I'm at with this.
That's awesome.
And we're 100% self-funded. It's all coming out of my wallet.
Are you going to make a book or anything like that afterwards?
Well, we tried. Financi's not very supportive of the idea of putting a book out that they don't do themselves.
I see.
So it's not something that I'm going to be able to pull together on my own. I would love to do it, and I have tons of material and plenty of expertise. It's just a matter of the fact that I don't own the rights to Akira,
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that, I could try. I could do an unauthorized biography or, whatever.
Maybe a documentary.
Yeah. Well, a documentary is definitely happening. Like, we're definitely working on that. And, it's one of those things that right now I'm in a different city every week and trying to keep things afloat and move. And
Do you have a website that has all this information?
Yeah, artofakira.com. Yeah,
Okay.
It's sort of the central hub, and then on Facebook it's Art of Akira, Twitter Art of Akira, and then you can find out everything about me at joethepeacock.com or just joepeacock.com. But yeah, it's sort of my biggest passion right now. It's the one thing I care the most in the world about. I want to get this in front of people, make sure everyone sees it and knows just how important this film was and how technically amazing it is.
Well, I mean, I think this exhibit is pretty unique. I mean, you go around the show floor and you see everything you see at every other Comic-Con.
Yeah.
This is something unique to see an art exhibit from a movie.
Yeah. That's really not something I thought much about when we started doing this, but it is something that I agree with you. There isn't much in the way of at Comic-Cons and other events. There isn't much of a draw. There isn't really anything that says, hey, besides Carrie Fisher and Leonard Nimoy and the people that you love in these movies, there's not much that says, hey, come celebrate what made this stuff. The dressing up is good, and the fandom is great, and the purchase of goods is fantastic, and getting autographs from artists is astounding. But when you can get your hands on original artifacts and things that just impacted us so much, and I mean, Akira literally brought manga and anime both to America. If it weren't for the Akira manga, I mean, Epic. Stan Lee's right down the road. He started Epic. Epic brought Akira here. People fell in love, and manga started getting celebrated. Lone Wolf and Cub had a massive, following here.
We
in
wouldn't
the United
have
States.
The Matrix,
No.
Ghost in the Shell, and
None of
things
that.
like
Yeah. So Akira, as a film, taught people that you could actually do serious cinema, like Western style serious cinema in animation, and people would not only like it, they would pay to see it.
Right.
It's the first film I ever saw when I was a kid that had blood, violence, political intrigue. Someone died, and there was explosions and bikes and just city stuff all over the place.
It wasn't sugar-coated.
No, not at all. It was a film. It was an honest-to-God adult film. Not adult film, but you know what I mean, a film for adults.
Yeah.
That was taken seriously, and it was animated. And it showed everyone that this isn't cartoons. This is not child stuff. Just because you animate it does not make it for children. It's a real story, and it's honest, and it's done to a technical level that has never been achieved, ever, before or since. So, yeah.
Are you from the Dallas area?
No, I'm Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm from Atlanta.
Because I was going to say there's an Asian Film Festival exhibit next door.
Oh yeah.
And they'd probably love to have you as a panel for that.
Yeah, I do them all the time. I love doing it. Yeah, I'll travel anywhere I can go and talk about Akira. It's my favorite thing in the world to talk about. So.
Thanks so much for the talk.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Where can we find this?
Sci-fiwatcher.com.
Okay, cool. And will you email me when it goes live?